All right, let's pick up where we left off. We were talking about the major scale and the major triad in position and along the fretboard on each string. Picking up from there, I want to talk about intervals. An interval is just the distance between two notes. So take that chromatic scale on the sixth string, going from the root up to the octave. If you play from that low root to each of the other notes, so on, each of those pairs of notes is an interval. When the notes are played individually like that, it's called a melodic interval, like a melody. The notes are played individually in succession. There are also harmonic intervals where the notes are played together. We'll get into that later. Now, since there are 12 half steps in the chromatic scale, there are going to be 12 intervals. I'm just going to play through them all right now. We're not going to name them all right now because we're only going to concentrate on certain ones. But here they are. Coming back down. And here they are in position. Again, at some point we'll name them all. Right now we're just going to concentrate on the ones that are relative to the major scale and to the major arpeggio. So we're just going to do, here's the major scale. I'm going to concentrate on those intervals. That's a major second, 1 whole step, 2 frets. Major third, 2 whole steps, 4 frets. Perfect fourth, 2.5 steps, 5 frets. Perfect fifth, 3.5 steps. Yes, 3.5 steps, 7 frets. Major sixth, that would be 4.5 steps, 9 frets. Major seventh, that's going to be 5.5 steps, 11 frets. And perfect octave, that's going to be 6 whole steps. So you need to play through those. Back up for a second. 6 whole steps, 12 frets. Remember, a half step equals 1 fret, whole step equals 2 frets. As you're playing those across one string, you can sort of visualize the distance in frets or half steps. And I did them from the open string to the 12th fret. You can do them in any, from the 1st fret to the 12th within that octave. And so on. Playing them in position, you can think about, think about and listen to how that major scale falls under your fingers in first position, and the major second is going to be from the first note to the second note. Major third is going to be from the first note to the third note. Perfect fourth is going to be from the first note to the fourth note. Perfect fifth from the first note to the fifth note. Major sixth from the first note to the sixth note. major seventh from the first note to the seventh note, perfect octave from the first note to the eighth note. And similarly here in position, I did them off of this lowest octave here from the low E to the E on the fourth string at the second fret. You can do them in all the other octaves. Skipped one. Okay, so I did them down there. I'll do them a few more down here off of the sixth string. Then at that point I've done all the ones that are available starting on the sixth string. I would move up to the fifth string and so on. Highest one you can get in first position would be up here off of this G sharp or A flat on the third string at the first fret. There's the scale. Here are the intervals. Let's try that again. Okay, major triad. There are only going to be three intervals here. The major third, perfect fifth, perfect octave. Again, major third, 2 whole steps, 4 frets. Perfect fifth, 3.5 steps, 7 frets. And perfect octave, 6 whole steps, 12 frets. And here it is in position. Again, you can do it off of, as you're playing it along the strings, pick an octave. Highest one I could get it on this guitar, being 24 frets, would be off of the 12th fret, this octave. From the 12th fret up to the 24th fret. Let's try that again. Okay. In position, again, do them off the different octaves. I'll do them off of those octaves. Let's try that again. And so on, up first position. Highest point you can start, highest available octave in first position, again, is off of this G sharp or A flat at the third string, first fret. There's the octave. Major third, perfect fifth, perfect octave. Okay. Now what I want you to try to do, I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of this and then leave the rest of it up to you, is going to take a really familiar melody that is just based off notes in the major scale, and that would be Joy to the World, the old, not the Three Dog Night tune, the old Joy to the World, the Christmas Carol, or the hymn, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do it in this octave. It starts on the high octave, and the first phrase just walks right down the scale. Up to the fifth. know that tune, I'm going to assume, and you know where the notes are along that string, theoretically, you should be able to piece that together. And the process of going through and piecing that together is going to develop this eye, ear, hand, fretboard connection, which is the whole point of these silly lessons. Again, do it in the different octaves. You know what? I'm going to do it as high as I can. We did it in E. So instead of doing it up an octave in the same key, I'm going to drop to the 11th fret, which is E flat. Forgive the intonation on the guitar. Start at the octave. Doing it in position, I'm going to do it off of these bottom 5 octaves. This one, those 5. Okay, here it is in E. Again, start at the octave. Don't start at the bottom note. Start at the top of the octave. Down the octave. In F. Sorry about that. F sharp. G. And A flat. Okay, you get the idea. Now the point of this obviously is not to learn Joy to the World. The point of this is to get the sound of the major scale into your ear and under your fingers and into your eyes, and to kind of wire all that up together. I actually meant to talk a little bit at the beginning of this, but I'll just talk about it now. The whole reason I'm doing these lessons, I was very fortunate in that I started playing young. I was about 8, I think, when I first started playing the guitar, and I just, fortunately for me, this connection of hearing, seeing, learning the neck that way happened very naturally for me, very organically for me, because I did it when I was young and my brain was still developing. Obviously, that's not the case for most people, especially as you get older. So the point of these lessons is to try to help you develop that connection. And again, if you work on this and nothing else, it's pointless. You know, this is not music. This is the raw materials of music, the nuts and bolts, the building blocks, however you want to look at it. In and of itself, it's not music. But it is a very useful means to the end of playing music. So, just use this. Ideally, you would just incorporate this into, some whatever sort of practice regime you have. I would not do this and nothing else. Obviously, you want to, learn tunes, just mess around, try and discover things on your own. But if you're interested in developing fretboard knowledge, this is a very useful way to do it. That's my opinion, but I think it's also based in fact. So there you go. I hope this helps, and I'll do another one soon. Thanks. Bye bye.